Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Jingle all the way to, yeah. Uh, we've already seen Jingle all the way already on this series. We talked about it. It stars, that was a 1996 film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad battling pretty much to the death almost to get an action figure for their children. And this, of course, is two, but is a sequel only in name and has nothing, absolutely nothing to do character wise with the original film. It does have a same premise, though. It is still about battling fathers, hoping to get the ultimate gift for Christmas. And this time, set in 2014, it's an hour and 31 minutes long. It stars Larry the Cable Guy. And you'd think this might have been a Disney film, but no, it's not. It's because they were in the Disney's been in the business with Larry the Cable Guy since at least 2005 with Cars. He's Mater. Um, he is. This is a 20th Century Fox film that came over, and strangely enough, Jingle All the Way, the original, is no longer on Disney Plus. So you can't watch that. As far as I could tell when I searched it, the only Jingle related movie is Jingle All the Way 2. So yeah, that's a little bit strange. They might bring it back maybe at Christmas time. I don't know. I that film to me, I don't know if I mentioned it during the original when I did the episode on it, but it's a little unsettling at times where the desperation is so high. I mean, beyond the goofy antics and the bug out eyes of Arnold Schwarzenegger, or just freaking out over all the crazy slapsticky antics that are going on in order to try to get this action figure. Like Sinbad is like a mailman, but then he calls in like terroristic threats. At one point, I can't remember if it was at the post office itself or somewhere else. It's just not a good look. He's like fighting police at some point. It's just I think that's why they might have taken it down. It's just not a good. No, no, it's just a little bit strange. This, on the other hand, could be considered a terroristic threat for the casting of Larry the Cable Guy. Well, hey, there's plenty of people who like Larry, and I can actually handle him as Mater. Honestly, he's not. I'm sure he's not a bad guy or anything else. It's that podunk hillbilly blue collar comedy character. He's a stand up comedian, and it's a character he's created. I understand this. There is no real person named Larry the Cable Guy, obviously. Larry the Cable Guy is his moniker, his identity that he's created. You run into him at the airport, and you're like, "You're Larry the Cable Guy." No, he's somebody else who I don't know what his real name is. So yeah, but still, he's a character, and hey, he just does his share of stand up. I think he was like the headliner or one of them on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, and that's hey, that's great, awesome. Some people find him extremely funny. Of course, probably more blue collar, people who just find it funny. I don't know. I'm not a snob. I'm not a comedy snob about this kind of stuff. He is funny. There are a number of good zingers he gets in throughout this, but this is very much sort of a class warfare comedy, which again, the whole premise of who he is, who he's pretending to be, the actor who plays Larry the Cable Guy, who's playing the character of Larry. It's not a big stretch. He plays the character of Larry, I think Phillips in the movie. He's blue collar. He's a guy who apparently is poor compared to his daughter's new stepdad. Um, it's him feeling like he needs to measure up to what this guy can provide his daughter, especially right around Christmas time. So, in a very serious sense, it's not a stretch to say this is like a real struggle that some people have, especially when you're dealing with divorced parents and step parents and things like that, of having to measure up to the original dad or measuring up to what the stepdad might be able to provide if mom happens to get the upgrade from poor chubby redneck to wealthy business owner, box store business owner guy. Not really sure. I mean, it's. I think the point of him being a box store owner is meant to make him look super boring, like Milhouse's dad on The Simpsons or something. Well, no, he owned a he inherited the cracker factory, but there was a box factory at some point. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Kirk worked at the cracker factory. So it's I mean it's a real kind of struggle. So it's based. It's not a superfluous super I can't say that. Dang it. Superfluous. Yeah, it's not a superfluous kind of premise. It's not like it's not just commercial in the sense that, oh, we must fight for action figure, we must spend the money. It's both men actually do care for this sweet girl. Her name's, not ironically, Noelle. Christmas, Noelle. She's, I don't know, she's like 7 or 8, and she's absolutely adorable, by the way. She's, I want to go down some of the list of the actors here. Obviously, Larry the Cable Guy. Stepdad Victor is played by Brian Stepanek. I don't know, I'm sorry how to pronounce that, but you've seen him in a billion things. He is a character actor that has been in a zillion things over the years, and once you see him, you'll be like, I saw him in like that episode of probably Law and Order, or just every type of TV show or movie. This guy is a reliable character actor. You've seen him a billion times. It's seriously. Larry the Cable Guy's best friend is Anthony Corelli, and he's like an American Gladiator. He's like a wrestler. They don't show that off at all. He's actually funny. He's actually a good sidekick kind of guy. He's good delivery. And Lauren K. Robick plays Larry's ex-wife, and the new wife of Victor, and the mommy of little, why can't I say Noelle? She's played by Kennedy Clements, and she's super adorable for the main part. She's just cute as a button, and she's good. She's like, I say this all the time, but I'm kind of really critical about kid actors. Like, you look at, excuse me, if you look at Daniel Radcliffe in the first Harry Potter film, his first like real acting gig. Watch that first film. Sorry, Dan, you're not good, but you're a little kid, and you had the look, man. And they edited around him like crazy to make Harry interact at the right moment, get the right scene, whatever, with every one of those actors. It's not great, but he's fantastic now. So I always say that, one, Daniel Radcliffe, freaking amazing. But kids, when they're younger than Dan was when he played Harry Potter, she's really good in this. She's believable. She has the energy of a kid, and she doesn't look like she's looking off camera to her mom, who's like, oh, get your lines. Like, she's not like constantly. Her eye line is right. She is connecting. She has the right emotions at the right time. Maybe she was just a horrible monster on set. I have no idea, but she, for her age, was really good. I mean, my expectations for this film were in the basement, so I really didn't expect anything good to come out of this, because, one, it's a sequel that really isn't a sequel. It's just name recognition. And it comes, 8 years after the original? No, 18 years after the original? 14 minus 8 years after the original? Yeah, I did that math. I was right the first time. Yeah, it's still got the same premise for the most part. On the surface, it does, but it shows that these two guys actually do care about being a good dad to this girl, and beyond all the needless, silly slapstick. But it's what you expect from this. Larry the Cable Guy is not going to be giving you a dramatic Oscar-worthy performance. When he shows up on Fargo season 27 at some point, where they're just like, oh, He's reimagining himself. He's gonna if he shows up in a Tarantino film, like Travolta late in his career, and just totally reimagines himself as Larry the actor guy. Yeah, then you'd be like, oh well, where has this guy been hiding the whole time? We'll deal with that. But for now, he's Larry the Cable Guy, and you're not expecting a whole lot more than jokes about rich people, and it's stuff that's mainly meant for the country music and Western crowd for the most part, the blue collar crowd. Yes, there is a point where he has to dress as a Santa and ride a mechanical bull. That was a given from the start. From the moment you knew this film existed, you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna happen. There's gonna be a saloon. At some point, he's gonna dress up in a Santa suit because, well, he's got the belly. And 2 or 3, whatever it is, he's gonna ride a mechanical bull. And surprisingly, like Tim McGraw didn't end up being like the MC for that. Like they didn't get every country music star in the world to make appearances in this because apparently they might have had a budget. But a lot of the effects, usually most of the effects in this are practical, somewhat. There's a moment where water explodes out of the back of a truck. That's digital, yeah. Because just water doesn't work like that when you roll up, when you just open the door. It doesn't work like that. It does either way. And knock you on your butt. Yeah, it's not going to happen. But I can't say this is a good movie, or even certainly not a great movie by any means whatsoever. But taking into consideration the fact that I had no expectations for this, it was actually okay. It was good. And again, it's going to be the kind of thing. It's going to hinge on whether you like Larry the Cable Guy or not. And there's certain people who feel very strongly about redneck comedy. That's why I think why a lot of people also, there's at the very beginning, if you weren't 7 or 5 or whatever, you didn't want to go see Cars if you weren't blue collar. Like Pixar somehow dumbed itself down. I know it's this whole class mentality that a lot of people have about rednecks or about blue collar people. That it's frustrating to make that, I don't know, prejudice assumption about certain people, like they're dumb or anything else. And Larry the Cable Guy, but this movie plays into that. He's not bright. He makes it clear that it took him 5-6 years to get out of high school or whatever. Like it's part of his character. So they play up this. There's no part of this that's going to sort of change the game and go, you know what, he's really a super intelligent guy and just defy expectations. No, they play into it. But his charm is that he has heart, and that is, he's do anything for his daughter, and he goes through every length possible in order to get this bear. He even does some things that are pretty slimy. I mean, first of all, she writes his letter to Santa, and she's like, "Don't look at it, Daddy." He's gonna like, "I'll put it in the mail." But she's like, "Don't look at it. I'm not gonna tell you what's in it because I want it to be a surprise. Because that way, it's like a wish, it won't happen." And that's a pretty flimsy premise, but it works for a kid and it works for the story because he's not supposed to look. And of course, after a humongous struggle at the mailbox, he does, and it sets him off on a quest for something that he's not really sure what he wants at first, but you realize pretty early on that it's going to be a talking stuffed bear, like Teddy Ruxpin. If you remember that, then I know how old you are. But this is a Harrison bear, and Harrison is this talking bear who's just super intelligent, can remember your name and everything else. So it's the biggest thing in the world. However, at the same time, once he figures out what she wants, stepdad finds out what she wants as well, because he has one of his men, his goons, follow Larry around. And when it turns out they start getting new stock in of this bear, this guy goes in and buys up every single bear in every single store in a 500-mile radius, like everywhere. Larry cannot catch a break. So we don't have that same Arnold versus Sinbad clashing all the time. And it's always Larry just sort of missing it or doing things that, by any means, like that riding the bull thing, and also dressing up as a homeless guy, uh, and mistakenly getting pity from an ex-girlfriend who happens to run into him at the shelter where they're giving away toys to kids, and he dresses up as a homeless guy in order to get the bear from Santa to give to his daughter. I don't need to. It's not going to ruin it for me to tell you that he doesn't hold on to it for very long, but in every despicable part of this, it shows that he does have a heart, and that his intentions are good, even though his methods might be a little shady. But he's desperate, and also by the fact that Victor is using a proxy, he's using one of his goons to do all the dirty work for him. It keeps Victor's hands clean. Even you want to see him as a villain, and he is like an uptight white collar to Larry's blue collar. He's a businessman. He's very nervous and wimpy, and he's portrayed as somebody that's I don't know, just not the gruff, tell it like it is, Larry the Cable Guy. It's not like that for him. He's a very different guy. How Larry pulled his ex in the first place, I have no idea. I mean, sure, maybe, yes. But Larry, the actor, sure, maybe he probably has a beautiful wife and kids. I have no idea. But Larry the Cable Guy, that character, is always played as a complete doofus who probably never... He just doesn't seem like he's a ladies' man. He certainly loves the ladies. He doesn't seem like a ladies' man. And there's plenty of beautiful women in this, and you keep thinking they're going to hook him up with the girl who works at the diner, who's helping him along, but she has no real story arc other than for him to talk to and say jokes that we all can laugh at about pie. But yeah, that's what she's there for, unfortunately. So yeah, the women don't exactly get a whole lot of agency in this film at all, except for the little girl who it's all centered around, which is, like I said, she's great. Larry is Larry. He's not going to surprise you a whole lot, but this does round out his character. He's not playing like they lean into Mater as being just a dumb hillbilly who gets lucky in every situation, or who has a overactive imagination, tells his tall tales. And yeah, I mean, I appreciate Mater for that. I can yeah, he's not my favorite part of the Cars films, but he is lovable. You can appreciate him. So when it comes to Jingle All the Way, you get that same kind of thing, except he's not a car. And I don't think there were any direct Cars references in this. Like, maybe there might have been a little nudge, wink, wink. No, I don't think so. Not that I can tell. By the way, I'm wearing this hat, and it is freaking hot this weekend. Holy cow! I really, if I take this off, it's gonna be a mess. But I hope we don't pick a Christmas movie next, because I don't want to wear this thing again. It needs to be washed. Anyway, I can't say I recommend this film, but it is not as bad as I thought it would be. And if you need one more Christmas movie to watch at Christmas time, this might be it. And if you like Larry the Cable Guy, sure, go for it. You're not going to find anything offensive for the kids or anything else. The storyline is pretty predictable. The only surprises are the fact that they do not villainize the stepdad, and a resolution comes in the end that is heartwarming. And it does what it set out to do, and that's good, because a lot of time when you get movies like this, they tend to go, oh, let's just forget story and character and just go for the big finish and make it all very exciting and make people walk out of the theater going, oh my gosh, well, I can't believe that happened. That was so funny and crazy and wild and action-filled, and you feel like you saw something. No, this is direct-to-video, so this is never going to be anything that was going to blow your mind. It's a vehicle just to get Larry out there to make more things. So, understandable. But yeah, you're not going to be like, oh my god, I got to see this. And I understand that very much. I was not expecting to like this one bit, but she makes it worthwhile. And she's just adorable. So she's good. And Larry is not as obnoxious, even if he is utterly predictable, as I thought he would be. So that's good. Can't believe I said that. But anyway, let's pick tomorrow's episode.
153.
153. We are not moving out of this 1-200 range very much. 153. Oh man, we are just knocking through the movies. Like we had it all shorts and series for a while, and a documentary, but we are knocking through the movies now. And this one is no small movie, but it's a Marvel movie. Yeah, it's one of the newer ones, and it has its own share of controversy. So I'm gonna have something to say about this. Yeah, I am. Even though I've seen it at least 2 or 3 times already. Twice in the theaters, I think. I saw it twice. And one time I had to yell at children. But I'm going to be watching Eternals. Yes, the Eternals from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I want to say so much right now. But I'm going to watch it, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. The Eternals from Marvel on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.